and it really boils down to how clean you can get this place. With walls crumbling like this and rebar sticking out, it leaves a lot of places for bacteria to hide. Here's the best part. You don't have to be nearby to use this service. I'm almost 200 yards away from the Capitol at the Reagan building. As long as I'm on the Capitol Wi-Fi system, I can use my iPad, my smartphone, even my laptop to register. Once I do that, I can keep track, even watch before it's my turn. It's been 2 years since crews have even been able to think about setting a prescribed fire. Our dry conditions during the drought have made it too risky. This site in North Hays County is on the lower edge of AWU's land. The county just lifted its burn ban, and as other areas follow suit, you can expect to see AWU start to set more fires like this in the future. It's this simple. If police pull you over, before they only had to get your consent on audio and video to search your car. Now they have to call their supervisor first for approval and get your written consent. We are in one of the hardest hit areas of the tornado's path. The hospital you see behind me ripped apart. Here it is no longer a mission of rescue, but a road to recovery. Certainly a long journey ahead for the people of Moore, Oklahoma.
Twisted wreckage everywhere.
Like a war zone out here.
Something like the end of the world or something.
Jessica Ellard says she always felt safe living across the street from Moore Medical Center.
This is my living room. Was my living room.
But not all the doctors and nurses in the world can save your family from this.
I was at work and just basically listened to a play-by-play saying, if you live by the hospital, you need to get out of here, you're not gonna be alive. And I couldn't get a hold of Dad.
Not knowing where her dad was, she prayed and waited and watched her neighborhood's fate play out on the news.
It's like a ghost town. It's normally busy.
I've driven past this every day, and I can't even recognize what some of that stuff was.
Really here?
Or that people might still be pinned underneath.
This way.
We have family members that live over here, and I don't know if they're alive or not.
We have confirmed that everything's clear, which is good.
Same story for Jessica's dad. It turns out he didn't need the hospital across from their home, even if it was still there.
He walked out of the closet without a scratch.
Safety was on his side after all, in the only room in their house left standing.
Everything I ever accumulated in my life is gone. So he's my dad's alive. That's all that matters.
Tonight, Jessica and her family are staying with friends. They leave behind the house they built 23 years ago. That is a lifetime for her. From bluebonnets to jalapenos, Texas has a whole list of official state symbols, but believe it or not, that list does not include an official pie. This week, we met some little lobbyists with a nutty idea for lawmakers.
Hello, my name is Jude Webster, and we are from Georgetown. At Ford Elementary. Is Senator Hancock available?
Sweet talking the state senate. Just ask Jude Webster and his fellow first graders how it's done.
Holy, that is so big.
Pie and a little bit of politics goes a long way.
A lot of other states have desserts and not Texas.
Since the pecan and the pecan tree are a state symbol, I think it would fit in perfectly.
Spending their spring break learning about the legislative process.
I hope you vote for the pecan pie to be a state symbol.
Well, I thought it was a state symbol. It surely should be.
I know.
You know. What's your favorite pie?
Cherry pie.
You're supposed to say pecan if you're lobbying for pecan pie.
I know, it's just not my favorite pie.
All right, well, let's try it again. What? Ready? Especially since you're on camera, it's really important that you say. What's your favorite pie?
The pecan pie.
Really? That is a great answer.
It started out researching state symbols, then deciding between desserts, eventually taking their class to the Capitol.
And I would like to give this pie to you.
Thank you so much. I'll make sure the senator gets this.
Senators got a tasty testimony from Jude.
There are two people in my life that love pecan pie. My mom and my grandpa. My grandpa will be so proud of Texas.
And it looks like the lawmakers loved their little lobbying efforts.
4 ayes, no nays. That's our passes, 12 passes.
And we take a liking to one another.
In a little house in Waco,
we just stayed together.
Lives a couple who knows a little something about how to pass the time.
She was a good-looking lady. She was one of the prettiest ladies up there.
Well, he was good looking and he had a car.
Edgar and Rena Bell Ludiker hit a milestone a few years back, a reminder of just how long ago they met and married.
We will be, you're going to answer.
Be 72, won't it? Next
May the 3rd.
A date Texas lawmakers recognized with the resolution.
Not very many people get to live that long, much less stay married that long. Heck, if it lasts 2 weeks, you're lucky. in some cases.
The Ludicers join a long list at the Capitol. Resolutions for almost anything. You make the honor roll at school, you're someone important who died. You do something great like save a life.
I think it's an important function of the state to recognize that those folks are the foundation of our culture.
Most lawmakers averaged around 20 resolutions last session, but one man took it to the extreme. Representative Charles Doc Anderson of Waco filed a whopping 312, including the one for the Ludicers.
So that doesn't take time away from any other issue or any other committee.
True, resolutions have their own committee and typically happen during lawmakers' downtime on the floor. But that's still time, like 7 minutes to recognize a sorority.
To celebrate Alpha Kappa Alpha Day at the state capitol.
Nearly 3.5 minutes for a golden anniversary.
Very good, very good.
Or in the Ludicers case, one of hundreds of resolutions in 37 minutes on the last day of the session.
Church 2743 by Anderson McClendon, Church 2744 by Anderson McClendon.
It's time you might think they could spend on more important things.
Oftentimes people make that misconception that, why aren't you dealing with gun control, or why don't you deal with education?
If legislation isn't passed, it's not because resolutions were on the schedule that day. It's because there were efforts to block that legislation.
And they're recognized, and that's that.
Former state lawmaker Sherry Greenberg says resolutions don't really ever get out of hand, but there could be restrictions. In the last 2.5 decades, the number of resolutions has more than tripled, from 1,200 to over 4,000.
Should there be a limit per member? Another would be to have a strict time limit per resolution.
Sometimes they're read in full, sometimes they're not read in full. And I think you'll start seeing as we go into session longer and longer that they become shorter.
Resolution is adopted. Part of the reason Anderson says he's not slowing down.
And we'll hope to have the same thing this session.
And that's okay with the Ludicers.
They're thinking about the people that originally put them in office.
Knowing their vote counts, and their lawmaker hasn't forgotten who he serves.
And we appreciate it to the bottom of our hearts to even thinking about it.